Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
Rami and Bassam, it's a pleasure to have you with us. Thank you for joining us. We met ourselves for the first time last year at Meeting Brno Festival, which is an original and permanent source of inspiration for Meeting Brno. So I would like to welcome you at 10th edition of Meeting Brno Festival this year with principal theme, the Price of Peace, Price of Reconciliation. And I would like to stress that we are organizing this festival just because of encounters like that encounter with you, encounter full of human beauty, full of human experience. We are organizing it to propose, to offer to our public such human stories as is the story of you two guys. So thank you so much for being with us. I would not present you more because I think it would be better if you personally would present yourself and your stories to our auditorium. So just simply let's start. And I would like to invite you to share your personal stories. Would Rami or Bassam this time be able to start?
We always fight,
Rami
and he
always.
always wins. he always wins because he's the victim and I'm the occupier.
So
I'm ready whenever you are. Okay, hi. It's a pleasure seeing you again, David. We still remember the good taste of our visit to Brno. We will never forget you. And we are happy to meet again. This Palestinian terrorist on the screen to my right is my dear brother, Bassamem Araminem. And in many ways, he's the closest person to me on earth. He's much closer to me than many of my own people, many of my own family. And what makes us so close is the price that we both have paid as an outcome of this ongoing conflict between our two nations. We don't need words to understand each other. We share the same kind of pain. For me, Bassam is a leader. I look up to him. I admire him. And I take a lot of strength out of him and my other brothers and sisters, Israelis and Palestinians, members of this unique organization of ours, which is known by the name of the Parents Circle, the Israeli-Palestinian Bereaved Families for Peace, which is probably the only organization on earth. My name is Rami Elhananem. I'm 76 years old, graphic designer. I live in Jerusalem. I was born in Jerusalem, seventh generation. My mother was also born in Jerusalem, an ultra-Orthodox Jewish family. My father came to this country in 1946 after spending 1 year in Auschwitz. Who were very badly wounded in the 48 war. She was the nurse that took care of him, and this is the reason why I'm able to speak to you right now. I am a Jew, I'm an Israeli, and before anything else, I am a human being. And the story I'm about to tell you starts and also ends on one particular day of the Jewish calendar, which is known by the name of Yom Kippur. Yom Kippur, you know, for the Jews is the holiest day of the year. This is the day where we ask forgiveness for your sin. On this very day, for 50 years and more, I was a very young soldier fighting this horrible October 73 war. We started it with a company of 11 tanks. We finished it with only 3, and I've lost over there in the desert of Sinai and across the Suez Canal some of my very best friend. I came out of it a very angry and bitter and disappointed young man with one determination to detach myself from any kind of involvement, from any kind of commitment to mind my own business. I got out of the army. I went to Bezalel Art School to become a graphic designer. I met my wife. I got married. And we had together 4 kids. And 42 years old, at the very eve of Yom Kippur, September 1983, my daughter was born in Hadassah Hospital in Jerusalem. Her name was Smadar. The name Smadar is taken from the Bible, the Song of Solomon. It means the grape of vine, which means the opening of the flower. And she was really a very special and unique and outstanding little girl. She was very beautiful. She was an excellent student. She was a dancer. She was a swimmer. She played the piano. She was amazing. Everybody used to call her the princess. And we lived a very good life in our house in Jerusalem. My wife, which is a professor for education in the Hebrew University, my 3 boys, and this princess. In what seemed to be the perfect, sheltered, protected lives. In so many ways, you could say that we put ourselves in a huge bubble, completely detached from the outside world, minding our own business. I was doing graphic design for the right wing, for the left wing, whoever paid me. Life was very comfortable and beautiful. This went on until about 28 years. On the 4th of September 1997, just a few days before Yom Kippur, this bubble of ours was blown up. 2 million of people. 2 Palestinian suicide bombers blew themselves up in Ben Yehuda Street in the center of Jerusalem. They killed 5 people that day, including 3 little girls. One of these girls was my 14-year-old Smadar. It was Thursday afternoon and the beginning of a very long and a very cold night, which continues until today. At first, when you hear about the explosion, you keep hoping that maybe this time this finger will not turn towards you. Gradually, you find yourself running in the streets trying to find her. She completely disappeared. You go from hospital to hospital, from police station to police station. Many long, frustrating hours until eventually very, very late at that night, you find yourself in the morgue, and this finger is stuck right between your eyes. And you see this sight, which you will never, ever be able to forget for the rest of your life. And then you come back home. The house is filled with thousands and thousands of people coming to pay respect, to offer condolences. These are the 7 days of the Jewish mourning period. It's called Shiva. And you are kind of enveloped by these thousands of people in a very clever, traditional way that is designed to ease your passage from one kind of life to a new one. In the 8th day, they go home. Everyone goes back to their normal everyday businesses. And suddenly you are left alone. And you need to wake up. You need to stand up and face yourself. And you have to make a decision. What are you going to do now with this new unbearable burden on your shoulders? What are you going to do now with this new personality of yourself, which you never thought could have existed? What are you going to do with this anger that eats you alive from within? And there are only 2 ways to choose from. And the first one is obvious. When someone kills your 14-year-old little girl, you are so angry. And you want to get even. This is natural. This is human. This is the way most people choose. When someone is punching back. But then after a while, you start asking yourself questions. You know, we are human beings. We are not animals. We can use our head. And you ask yourself, will killing anyone will bring her back? Will causing pain to anyone will ease this unbearable pain? And the answer is certainly no. So with a very gradual and complicated process, come to the other option, which is much more difficult. Trying to understand what happened here. Why did it happen? How could such a horrible thing take place? What can cause someone to be that angry, that mad, that desperate, that hopeless, that he's willing to blow himself up with 14 years old little girl? You have some kind of connection to it yourself? Maybe some kind of responsibility? Well, it's not easy. It takes time. It took me almost a year. At the beginning, foolishly enough, I thought that I could go back to my life, pretending as if nothing had happened, go back to my studio and try to live a normal life. But nothing was normal anymore. And I was not the same person anymore. And about a year later, on some occasion, I met a big man who changed my life completely. His name was Yitzhak Frankenthal. He was a religious Jewish guy, you know, with a big kippah on his head. And you know how we tend to put people into drawers and we judge people by the way they dress. And I was certain that this guy with a kippah on his head is a fascist, and he eats Arabs for breakfast, and I prepared myself to fight him. And we started talking. He told me about his son, Arik, a soldier who was kidnapped and murdered by Hamas in 1994, and about this organization that he created of people who lost their loved ones and still wanted peace and search for peace. And he invited me over to watch a meeting of this group of crazy people. And I was a little bit curious. I said, okay. And I went to see. It was 27 years ago. I was standing aside, very detached, very reluctant, very cynical as I always am. And I was watching those people. And for me, as an Israeli patriot, these people were living legends. I used to look up to them. I used to admire them. I used to read about them in the newspapers. And I never ever thought that one day I will become one of them, people who lost their loved ones and still search for peace and wanted peace and fought for peace. But then I saw something else, which was completely new to me and to my eyes and to my mind and to my soul. I was standing there watching the Palestinian bereaved family coming down from the buses, walking towards me, shaking my hand for peace, hugging me, crying with me. And I was so deeply moved and so deeply shocked. You see, I was 47 years old at the time, and until today, I'm ashamed to admit, it was the first time ever in my life I had met Palestinians as human beings. Not as workers in the street, not as terrorists, not as transparent people, as human beings who carry the same burden that I carry, who suffer exactly like I suffer. And I was so deeply moved. I remember seeing this old Arab lady coming down from the bus with this long traditional Palestinian dress. And she had a picture of a 6-year-old kid on her chest, exactly like my wife carrying the name of our daughter, Svaté, on hers. I'm not a religious person. I have no way of explaining what happened to me back then, 28 years ago. All I can tell you is that from that moment on until today, I devote my life to go everywhere possible, to talk to anyone possible, people who want to listen, and people who will not listen, to convey this very basic, a very simple message which says we are not doomed. This is not our destiny to keep on killing each other in this holy land of ours forever. It's not written anywhere, and we can change it. And we can break once and for all this endless cycle of violence and revenge and retaliation. And the only way to do it is simply by talking to one another, because it will not stop unless we talk. I believe deeply that one can teach himself how to listen. I believe that once you are able to listen to the pain of the other, you can expect the other to listen to your pain. And then, only then, together start this very long journey towards reconciliation and maybe some kind of peace in the end. It's a very long and bumpy road, and there are no shortcuts. But this is the only way possible, because the other way leads to nowhere. And the price of the other way is really horrible. So this is what we are trying to do at the Parent Circle. We are about 800 families. And we are banging our heads against this very high wall of hatred and fear divide our two nations today. And we have one common denominator. We understand that occupation creates resistance, that as long as people are not equal, as long as people are being enslaved and oppressed, they will retaliate, and this creates this endless cycle of violence. And the cause of it is one word, and the word is the Israeli occupation of the West Bank and Gaza Strip. And what we are doing is trying to show the world that there is another way, that we can solve this problem, and that we are not doomed. So this is what we do. We go around the world, we go around the country, we go from high school to high school. We talk to Israeli kids, we talk to Palestinian kids, we talk everywhere. And we tell them that our blood is exactly the same color, and our pain is exactly the same pain, and our tears are just as bitter. And if we who have paid the highest price possible, if we who have every reason on earth to want to kill each other, if we can call each other brother, anyone can, anyone should. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Rami, for describing those tragic moments and also the encounter that in fact changed your life and that makes it possible for you to live in a new way. Bassam, what about your story? What about your encounters, crucial encounters of your life? I hope you are still with us.
Yes, I am with you. Thank you very much, David. And thank you, Brother Rami, for remaining human being.
Sharaf Illi.
Which is very difficult, to be honest. I don't know from where to start. I live in a very, very complicated world, very strange world. I find myself at the age of 12 or 13 as a fighter or a warrior against a very strange enemy that I don't understand his language. I don't understand why he is here in my village, in my neighborhood, which is a disaster, in fact. This is not my job as a kid to fight or to think about fighting. Someone said, if you're born as a Palestinian, you already defeated 1-0 to life. You need to prove that you are a human being, or you are a good man. I grew up on a value, according to Al-Khwarizmi, the father of the mathematics. He said, one man, or a man with morals, is one. If he's rich, we will add another 0, so he will be 10. If he becomes from a very special family, we will add another 0, it's 100. If he have a well education or good education, we will add another 0, he will be 1,000. If you lost the morals, what remains is zeros. We live in immoral world. It's very difficult to live in this way, to find yourself the usual suspect. I am the usual suspect everywhere, anywhere, in my neighborhood, in my city, in the roads, in the borders, in America. I become the Jewish or the Jew of the Middle East. No one wants me, and I am wanted. Everyone suspect me. In fact, at the age of 12, I find myself as a fighter or a warrior, and I don't know I am a fighter or a warrior, to join 4 kids by raising the Palestinian flag to make the Israeli soldiers or the strangers angry. They teach us how to hate them from their brutal behavior. At the age of 16, we find some old weapons in a cave. We don't know how to use these weapons. We find 2 grenades and a rifle or Kalashnikov. 2 of my friends used the 2 grenades against Israeli patrols or soldiers in our village in Hebron. Of course, in that time, no one killed, no one injured because they don't know how to use it. And 1 year later, I found myself in the Israeli jail for 7 years. My friends, they spent like 20 years, 19, 15, 14. I start to learn in jail about myself, my narrative, who am I, the Palestinians, who's those people, the Jewish, the Israelis, the Zionists, what's the difference? It's a long story, but I learned that if you know your enemy, you can defeat him or you can kill him. If you only hate him, you will kill yourself. So I start to study Hebrew, the language of the enemy, to know how to kill my brother Rami in that time. And he knows it's not personal. A few months later, I watch a movie about the Holocaust, which was unbelievable for me. It's a big lie for me, the Holocaust. I don't know anything about it. And later on, I felt kind of shame or shy that I didn't know about this tragedy. And I discovered that I paid the price of this crime that I never committed. Even I don't know anything about it. I lost my homeland, I lost my rights, I become under the occupation because of this Holocaust that I don't know anything about it. In fact, when I watch the movie, I want to enjoy seeing this movie, to see someone torture those Jewish, kill them, arrest them, occupy them, at least because I am in their jails. But it was too much for me. After a few minutes, I found myself crying, get sympathy with those innocent people. I don't believe that they are human beings, can do the same to other human beings. I say to myself, it's just a movie and nothing like this in the reality. It's a long story, but I decide I want to know more about this big lie, if it's really happened or it's just a movie. So this movie remained with me after many years after that, after I get released, until 2010 and 11 when I make my master degree about the Holocaust in Bradford University in the UK. Then after that, I start to visit death camps in Germany. And I learned that if you know more, you act much better. If you don't know, simply you don't know. The problem, when you decide you don't want to know, you're already victim to yourself, to your narrative, and to your history. You can imagine it's a very long 7 years. It's a very difficult 7 years. They just teach us how to hate them and how to be more determined to continue fighting those brutal people, because it's a very special kind of occupation. It's not to occupy your land, to change the regime, maybe to secure themselves in a specific place. No, you discover that they come to die in your grave. So to be or not to be in that time, in spite of very difficult conditions, every day, every moment, they try to kill your humanity, but you need to be very strong to keep your humanity and to say they are not my example. I need to remain a human being in order to continue fighting them. This is the main goal. In fact, they never broke us. As I said, you just become more determined until I get released in 1992 after 7 years. And I still believe in armed struggle as the only way to fight those people, I mean the occupation. 93, suddenly we have peace, Oslo agreement between PLO and Israel. Then I discovered that more than 100 years we are trying to kill each other, to defeat each other. And the result until now, Israel is not safe and Palestine is not free. More blood, more pain, more victims. So we need to change our way to achieve the same goal. We will never ever accept the Israeli occupation. The Israelis will never feel free until I will feel free. We have the right to resist and to use armed struggle and to use everything in order to liberate ourselves and to fight the occupation, but we use it for more than 100 years. The question is for how long we can continue like this, killing each other. Maybe we can find another way, maybe to survive together, or to talk together, or to understand each other. And this is exactly what happened for me. This is what I start to believe. When I understand that in the end, we need to sit down and talk, it means to negotiate. So what's the meaning, the end? Let us start now. Talk to each other, negotiate, and reach agreement. In fact, I get married, I have 6 children, and in 2002 and 3, I hear in the Israeli media about the refuseniks, which is the most moral army in every society. People who refuse to be part of the Israeli occupation, to be part of the illegal and immoral oppression to another people. And for me, it was unbelievable. Those soldiers or officers who refused to serve, I really want to understand why. I wish to meet them, and 2 years later, by chance, we have the first meeting between 4 Palestinians. I was one of them, ex-prisoners, of course, with 7 ex-Israeli officers. Ram's son was one of them, my brother Elik. Today he's a professor, and I am not. So, you can imagine it was the most difficult meeting in my life. Yes, we want peace, we want meet each other to make peace, but when you start to practice it, it's not easy to your enemy, and to shake his hands, and maybe to smile, and to be polite, and even to make an effort to listen to his narrative. For us, he have no narrative, of course. So it was the most difficult meeting for me, and I can imagine for each one of them. We don't trust each other, especially us. We did our best to kill each other physically from both sides. Briefly, we have another meeting after 2 weeks, and then I meet my brother Rami, and from the first moment since we met, he fell in love with me, as you know, because we discovered that simply we are the same. We share the same values. Simply, he's a human being. He don't talk as an Israeli or a Jew. I don't talk as a Palestinian. We care about human beings as human beings. We want to live in peace and dignity and social justice and equality. So we became, in fact, from the beginning, I can say, really friends. Then after that, very close friends. Then today we are family, we are brothers. So whatever he say, whatever he make a mistakes, you know, families, you have no choice. That's it, we are family. I need to suffer him to the end. I'm very proud of him all the time. We never fought. I totally respect him. And to add to that, as a Palestinian, for my national aspirations, I can send Rami on behalf of me to negotiate about my political rights with closed eyes, which is something not normal, to be honest, because always I said it's not a great honor for a Palestinian to have a friend from the Israeli side. What's the meaning of friends? We are enemies. We kill each other. The Israelis occupied us. But our relationship, our personal relationship, is above any conflict. So in fact, until the end of this year, we became 300 members from both sides. Then we discovered we are the same. We want to kill each other to achieve the same thing. We want peace and security. Of course, each one from his point of view. So we create combatants for peace. And our slogan was what Nelson Mandela says: if you want to make peace with your enemy, you need to work with your enemy. Then your enemy become your partner. And this was our goal, to prove that there is a partner for peace in the other side, always. So in fact, 2 years later, in the 16th of January 2007, it's the most difficult day in my life, forever, whatever you live, the most black day. It's before and after an Israeli border police shot and killed my beloved Abir. She was 10 years old in front of her school from a distance of 15 to 20 meters in her head from the back. She fell down, and 2 days later she passed away in Hadassah Hospital, where she born, and where Smadar born and died. Between Abir and Smadar, it's 10 years, and we don't know each other. But believe me, it's the same killer, the same criminal who take off the lives of our daughters. It's the occupation. it's the hatred, it's the fear. In fact, 2 hours after Abir was shot, I received my brother Rami and my sister Nurit at the hospital with more than 30 Israeli families who stay with me 3 days until Abir passed away. From the beginning, I said, revenge is not the answer. And we need to double our efforts to achieve peace, especially now. Personally, because I have another 5 kids. And the answer to killing children is unjustifiable under any circumstances, anywhere, everywhere, and, for any case. Of course, I know where I live. Unfortunately, as my sister Nurit wrote in an article, that the killer of Abir will never be brought to justice. Even I was very optimistic in that time, and I said, I will brought him to justice. I will defeat him with my humanity. So maybe I was wrong. I need to admit that. I said in this press conference before Abir even died, I said, I'm not going to give up if the worst will happen to my daughter. I will follow those killers in the court even after 100 years. But unfortunately, the Israelis, I know that, they will close the file and they will say because lack of evidence. And this is the answer after 4.5 years in the Israeli Supreme Court. It was that the mother have the right to know the killer of her daughter, but because it's 4.5 years and because lack of evidence, we close the file. In fact, I met the victim who killed my daughter after 3.5 years in the Israeli court. And I said to him, you are not a hero, you are not a warrior. You didn't kill the enemy or a terrorist, you just killed 10 years innocent girl. And if you are proud of that, you can enjoy your crime. I don't ask for revenge because I don't take revenge from victims. You are not less victim than your victim. But in any day in your life, if you come to ask me to forgive you, always you will find me there. But it's not because of yourself at all. It's because of myself, because I really love my daughter very much. And because I have another 5 kids. I don't want them to grow up as victims to you, and you are victim by yourself. It doesn't say when I say that he's a victim that he's innocent. He's a killer. But he's a victim to his system, to the reality, to the education. In fact, 2 days after I lost my daughter, I joined the Parents Circle Families Forum. I know them because I know my brother Rami 2 years before. But in fact, in my worst dream, I don't want to join this amazing group because the price is very high. You will never dream that you will lose anyone from your family and especially your kids. So what I want to say in the end that we need to share Palestine or Palestine or the Islamic Waqf or the Islamic land, Israel, Eretz Israel, the Promised Land, the same land as 1 state or 2 states or 5 states. Otherwise, we will share the same land as 2 big graveyards to our kids, our families, and our people. The Israelis will never give up their safe place after 3,000 years of slavery and discrimination and anti-Semitism, and the Palestinians will never ever accept the Israeli occupation even after 3,000 years, after another 75 years of ethnic cleansing, after another wave of genocide in Gaza. We must be free. So it's up to us to understand that there is a place for everyone to live side by side. But unfortunately, we will wait for another wave, 7th of October, for another 7th of October, another genocide with another mass killing, until we understand that we can live together, all side by side. And this is what we believe, me and my brother Rami, and the Parents Circle, and Combatants for Peace, and many other organizations and people on the ground. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Bassam. First of all, thank you both for your testimony of human closeness, of being brothers, as you express it many times. This registration will be offered to schools, to students. And I know from you personally that you dedicate yourself very much to young generation. So my first question would be, what are your experiences when you approach a school? What are maybe also specific stories which happened with when you communicated with students? Rami, would you be able to start?
Yeah, it's we've done it for more than 15 years together. Sometimes 5 times a day. Talking to groups that were changing. We were talking to 4 people and to 4,000 people. Once Bassam talked in front of 10,000 people. And the reaction is more or less the same. The basic difference is between schools in Israel and Palestine and the schools outside. In Israel and in Palestine, they are not polite and receptive like you. It's like walking into the open mouth of an active volcano. The earth is shaking. There is a sea of blood between these 2 nations and a lot of anger. And for most of these kids, they never ever saw an Israeli and a Palestinian, which are not only not fighting each other, but they call each other brother. And this creates an earthquake, and the earthquake creates a crack in the wall. And the crack allows a little light to come in, and a little light can drive away a lot of darkness. So this, it has a lot of meaning, this meeting. It's very powerful, it's very dramatic, and it makes a change. And I always say, even if in the end of the class, there will be only 1 kid, Israeli or Palestinian, who nods his head in acceptance of this message, it's a miracle. It means that we saved 1 drop of blood. In Judaism, 1 drop of blood is the whole world. And the fact is that we feel the change. They stand in line to shake our hands and to show respect. And it's very exciting to finish such a meeting and go on to the other meeting. Sometimes it can be very, very, very good.
I just want to add that even if it's very difficult, this is our joy. It's really joy to go to talk to those kids, those teenagers. They are the young generations. We feel responsibility because we need to tell them everything that we know that can help them to shape their future. At the same time, in many places, believe me, we find those kids more liberal, more open than their teachers. That's it.
There is a hope in that.
Yes.
I believe. Another group of people you are talking to quite often are politicians. What I know from this period, you met, for instance, the chairman of Foreign Affairs Committee of Czech Senate. Then you were with King of Belgium, and I'm sure many other important persons you met in these last weeks and months.
The Pope.
And the Pope. How was it with Pope? It was Pope Francis last year, wasn't it? Can you share with us this encounter with the late Pope Francis?
You know, it's very difficult for me to be inspired because like we meet all kind of people, good people, of course. They are human beings, but this man was very special, to be honest, very special. First, he will give you the impression that he know you and we know each other long time ago. As Rami always described him, you can't put your head on his shoulder and cry. He's full of mercy, full of humanity. Very simple guy, very modest guy. And I remember the first word before I said to him, hello. He stand to check my hands. The first, we met him twice. He said, pray for me. I said, what? Millions of people waiting for you to pray for them. We come here, we ask you to pray for us. It means I am a very simple human being. I am a little bit like sick. Pray for me. And for me, it was unbelievable. He's very open. He understands, and you feel that he understands. Not sometimes like very respected politicians. They know everything in advance, and they don't want to talk. They don't want you to talk because they understand. And in fact, some of them, they don't understand anything. The last time we have a discussion for more than like 30 minutes with the Pope. And I remember he stand up, you know, it was like a little bit difficult for him, and walk for us to the door, like 10 meters. And it was for me a very painful because I want to say to him, please, Papa, stay here. And he said to us, do you know why I walk with you to the door? Of course, it's an act of respect and appreciation. And Rami, he said to him, yes, I know, because you want to make sure that we are leaving. So he started to laugh. And before that, someone told him that, Papa, Bassam talk about you on the TV. And he asked me what? I said that I wish you are the President of United States of America. So he really laughed and he said, I don't think it will be a blessing for me. So I said, of course I understand, but it will be a blessing for us. It means your spirit should cover or envelope the Christian world. And as Christians, if you see the Christian world today, I am sorry to say, I don't want to be Christian. It's very difficult. It's very difficult. Like you talk about morals and there is no morals. You talk about humanity, it's a very difficult values. We don't understand each other. Democracy is something totally different in the West. Human being is totally different. Genocide is totally, even if it's live broadcast. Mass killing, it's different. So the whole human values are different today. Someone like Pope Francis, he is the values. He is this human values, the religious values. And for that, I wish he will be the president, especially of United States of America, not another country, because he will change the world. And I said, someone like this, he can occupy the world, all the world, with his love, with his compassion, with his respect to the values of the human beings. So I believe, in general, politicians, they are human beings. And I met once, many years ago, Tony Blair, for example, in London. And now I can't say his name. Because, sometimes people, how come that you met him? I am not a judge. Because the meeting was how a leader will be inspired by his people, by the ordinary people. And I am very ordinary man. So I want to ask him, the biggest demonstration in the world against the war, it was in London, in the war in Iraq. And you never inspired, my friend. So you know what he told me? It was like, I never forget it. He said, sometimes you hear someone like you, ordinary man, as a politician, as a leader, and you wish you can say the same words that he say, because you cannot. So this is politics. So I believe they are human beings. They need to listen to us. Then they listen to us. But sometimes they have no power to change the policy. I met like almost the president of United States of America. And he said, believe me, for you, if I would win, I will work to change the policy of United States of America in the Middle East for you. And they said, I respect you. I wish you will be the president, but believe me, you cannot change it. Imagine. So it's a very complicated word, and in the end, always me and my brother talk with the people, the ordinary people. They can make the change. They need to be the change itself. And especially here, Israelis and Palestinians, they need to release themselves from the victimhood mentality and to be victims to the Americans. We are paying the price of the American policy, both Israelis and Palestinians. They don't care about us. They care about themselves, and we are the smart part is here.
Thank you. What about your impressions, Rami, from this encounter with Pope and maybe also with other politicians?
I think Bassam described it very profoundly and
politely
and skillfully. I'm not a religious person, and I don't have a lot of respect for people in high places. But this man was different. This man, as Bassam said, he gave you the feeling that he's like a father to you, that you want to hug him and put your head on his shoulder. And he was very human. He was very, he had sense of humor. When he saw us, and we show him the picture of the girls, he was crying with real tears. And I really appreciate the ability of such a great man to show his feelings without censorship.
Thank you so much. Just at least one more question. I think in fact, Pope Francis himself accompanied after October 7th the Catholic parish in Gaza on daily basis. He made a call every day to know the situation more closely was possible. What about your judgment on the situation in Gaza? Genocide.
One word describes it. It's unbelievable, and the fact that the world is standing aside while a crime in this scale is being committed is also a crime.
Bassam?
I'm not going to say a different word than Rami, but sometimes even the word genocide lost its meaning. Ethnic cleansing, mass killing, this is, I don't know, it's not enough to say that. I don't know really how to describe it. We were in me and my brother Rami, at least in 4 death camps or concentration camps. It's not to compare. But the Germans claim that they don't know. In Weimar or Buchenwald or Dachau, which is maybe, I can see it in Israel, Palestine. And it's not a hide like areas. We live together. The Israelis, they don't know and they don't want to know. In Auschwitz, maybe it's like isolated, they don't know and they don't want to know. But today it's live broadcast. It's in the TV. You can see it everywhere around the world. It's not to be pro-Palestinians or to be pro-Israelis. It's unbelievable that you will have people until today argue about the 7th of October, argue about Hamas or hiding using children as human shield. It's unbelievable. Simply, they lost their humanity. If you cannot see or believe what your eyes see on the TV, you lost your humanity. You are not yourself. If you are a Jewish, you are not a Jewish. If you are a Muslim, you are not a Muslim. If you are a Christian, you are not a Christian. You just lost your humanity. Totally. And this is what we call It doesn't say if you are against what happened, you are pro-Palestinians or you are pro-Hamas. This is how those killers try or make their best. Anyone open his mouth against the killing, first of all, if he's a Jew, he's self-hating Jew. If he's not, anti-Semite. If he's not, he's a Holocaust denial. Nothing to do with the Holocaust. Yes, it's ready. This is the sword that they used to shut you down. It's a test for the humanity, for the human beings. It could happen anywhere, everywhere. We need to be together to protect our humanity, everywhere. So today, the Palestinians are suffering. Tomorrow, maybe the Israelis. Are you going to change your mind? Maybe the Ukrainians that are suffering now. Maybe the Americans. It could happen anytime, every time. We need to remain human beings. This is why my brother Rami remain human beings. This is why we remain brothers, and we will remain brothers forever. Because when you lose your humanity, you are not yourself.
Thank you so much. The very last question. I was really touched when you, Bassam, mentioned a certain point in your life when you pose yourself question, who am I? So this question of identity, personal identity, is always connected with another question, what is my task, what is my mission? So at the end of our interview, I would like to ask you, what are your plans? How do you perceive your role in this world, in this situation for coming months and years? Maybe also what are your desires for the future?
I am a human being. I am a Muslim. I have a target. I have a goal. This is why God created us, to develop our world, to make it much safe, much better, and to control myself. I don't want to control anyone. Religions, in order to control yourself and not to control the others. If you are good, if you behave in a good way, if you respect yourself, if you love yourself, the rest of the world will respect you, will love you, and will never harm you because you never harm anyone. This is my message. This is my way. And when you act in this normal way with normal people, yes, you live happy. You have no enemies to conquer. You don't hate anyone. So some people say to me, when I meet you and Rami, I am in the paradise. I have no problems in my life. I am normal. I live, I think normally. And I start to think in a positive way. When someone, I met him, me and Rami, before 13 years, until now, he sent me like an email. Whenever I face a problem, whenever I face a dilemma, I just think about you, both, and I pass it in a very easy way. Oh my God, this is deserve everything. And at the same time, you need to know that we learn by ourselves, even from the kids, not hierarchy politicians, not great people like the Pope, from kids, from those angry kids in the schools. We learn from them sometimes how to think as them, because sometimes we forget in their age how we think in that time. We deserve, believe me, we deserve a very quiet place, deserve to live in a normal way, to have kids, to educate them, to send them to their schools and get them back safe, to contribute to our society, to everywhere in the world. This is why we live. This is our goal. And in the end, as a Muslim, you want to go to the paradise when you die. So you need to be to take care not to commit any sins, but you are not a prophet. Always you need to regret, to remind yourself that I am a weak human being, I can't commit mistakes, I need always to regret and to go back to myself. It's very simple, very human. no radicalism. I believe to be like religiousness. To be religious, you kill the religion. Religion is a way of life. Complicity kill the faith. It's a very simple faith. Our life is very simple, but we make it hell.
It seems really very simple and accessible to everyone.
But
What about
you are
you,
a
Rami?
prophet.
What about you, Rami?
I went to sleep last night with the picture of a Palestinian 35 years old in age under the rebels of her house with 13 people of her family. She was alive. She was talking. The Israeli army prevented the rescue people to get to her, and she and 13 people of her family died that time, last time. And the world is silent. And I think this is unforgivable. This is something that need to shake honest people with basic humanity, not to stand aside while this genocide is taking place. Not to there is no justification under any circumstances for such atrocity. And the silence of the world will be not forgotten. And everyone who look the other way while this crime is being committed is actually an accomplice. And we need to look deep down into ourselves and ask ourselves, why do we let it go on? While there is no big shout calling the gang leaders to step down.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Rami and Bassam, for your time, for sharing who you are and what are really your most precious things you have on your hearts. Thank you for your friendship. And I think me personally, and also all our listeners, we are wishing you all the best to you, to your families, and we just hope that your testimony will be so powerful as it is also in the future. Thank you so much, and have a nice summer.
Thank you, David. Thank you. We are honored to be
friends
of you.
Thanks a lot.